In this video, I'm going to show you 6 insane opening traps that you can use to win the game in less than 8 moves. And in case you're wondering, all the games I'm going to show you were between players who were both rated above 2,000. So these are very strong players. So make sure you pay attention so that when these ideas pop up in your games, you'll be ready. Let's get started.
Develop castle, attack and checkmate, chess vibes.
All right, so the first trap comes out of a Ruy Lopez. So we have e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, and bishop b5. This is standard stuff. White attacks the pawn, black defends, and then white attacks the knight on c6. And now black plays what's called the Cozio defense, knight g to e7. So it's an interesting move. The idea is to defend the knight this way so that if white captures, then black can recapture with the knight and still keep a defender on the e5 pawn. It's not as popular for black as some other lines, but it's perfectly playable. Now white plays knight c3, developing the knight, and now black plays the move g6. They're trying to fianchetto the bishop this way and then probably castle. So white uses this moment to strike back in the center with d4. Black recaptures, and then instead of just the normal looking, knight takes to recapture the pawn, white played the move knight to d5. And here black made a crucial mistake and played the move a6. Now a6 is actually one of the worst moves that black could play, and I'll give you a second. What do you think white played next? Well, if you said knight to f6, you are correct. That is a beautiful smothered checkmate because all of these pieces are blocking black's king from escaping, and that's a checkmate in just 7 moves. All right, the next trap I'm going to show you is with the black pieces, and it comes out of the Tory attack. So we have d4, d5, knight f3, knight f6, and bishop g5. This is known as, like I said, the Tory attack. White immediately puts pressure on the knight with the bishop here. And black decides to go for a very aggressive response, knight to e4, not allowing white to capture the knight and putting an attack on the bishop. So white retreats the bishop, and now black plays c5, again, being very aggressive and attacking at white's center. And white plays c3 just to defend the d4 pawn, very standard stuff. Now black plays the move queen to b6, lining up on the b2 pawn. And white plays queen to b3, offering the queen trade. All right, now at this point in the game, if I were to tell you that the game would be over in the next 2 moves by checkmate, not by someone resigning, not by a little blunder here, by checkmate, would you believe me? I'll give you a few seconds to think about the position and see if you can come up with any type of way possible where the game could be over in 2 moves by checkmate. Go ahead and write it below in the comments if you think you have the idea. And if you're ready to see the fireworks, here we go. Black plays the move queen to h6, lining up on the bishop, although the bishop is defended, so it kind of looks like a relatively weird move. White proceeds by capturing this free pawn on d5, and now can you see it? Black played the move queen to c1, and that, my friends, is checkmate. Again, we have another amazing game where the game was over in just 7 moves. That was a very clever trick by black, and white obviously didn't even see it coming. All right, the next trap comes out of the Polish defense, which is b5 against d4. Black's plan is to fianchetto their bishop over here and put pressure on the center that way. White plays the move bishop g5, which is a very interesting move. It's kind of like the Trompowsky attack, except normally black would have a pawn on d5 instead of b5, so it's a little bit weird already. So black plays h6, chasing the bishop away, and then puts the bishop on this diagonal like we talked about. And now white plays e3, which is actually subtly attacking this pawn here with the bishop. Black did notice that and played the move a6. And now white plays knight to f3, just developing the piece. And at this point, black started to get a little bit too aggressive. They played the move g5, which is obviously forcing the bishop to go back. And then they played f5, again, very aggressive, looking to push these pawns forward and, I guess, attack white's king right away. But white had a very clever trick in mind and played the move knight to e5. And black did not see the threat and played the critical mistake, d6. Now, do you see what white played next? That's correct. If you said queen to h5, you are correct, and that is actually checkmate on the spot. Black has no way to block the queen, nowhere to move the king to, and that's game over in just 8 moves. All right, the next trap we have is for black. White starts with knight f3 and black starts with knight f6. So both players are developing their kingside knights, and we end up with what's called the Indian game. And black counterattacks with c5. White plays a very interesting move, knight to c3. Normally you would kind of defend the pawn with one of these, but they decided to just go ahead and develop the knight. e6 and then bishop to g5. So we've got a pin on the knight here. Black plays the move a6, and now white captures on c5. Now, this is probably not the best option for white because it does allow black's bishop to get on a nice aggressive diagonal, But then they followed up with a really big mistake, knight to e4. That is a crucial blunder. And I'll give you a second. Can you spot the move that black played next? Well, if you're ready to see the killer move, it was knight takes e4, completely ignoring the fact that the queen is now going to be taken, which white did do. They captured the queen. And then again, you probably see it now. The bishop came in and delivered the checkmate. Wow. Just a knight and a bishop, that's all it took, and black didn't even need the queen. Again, that's checkmate in just 7 moves. All right, this next trap is one of my favorites. It comes out of the Caro-Kann. So e4, we have c6, and then f4 is an interesting move by white. Normally, white would play something like d4, or I like to bring my knights out right away, but f4, different kind of a move. d5, white defends with the knight. We have captures, captures, knight here, which is pretty typical in the Caro-Kann, bringing this knight to support this knight later, and that way if white captures, you can recapture with the knight. And now white plays a very sneaky move, queen to e2. And black actually had no idea what was coming next, simply went on with their plan, developed the knight. And can you spot the move for white in this position? All right, well, if you're ready to see the surprising move, it is knight to d6, which is checkmate, because this pawn cannot capture because the queen is pinning it. That is a beautiful smothered checkmate. King has nowhere to go because all the pieces are surrounding it, and that's game over in just 6 moves. Now, this last trap I'm going to show you is with the black pieces, and the first time I saw this, it actually blew my mind. You're going to enjoy this one. Here we go. We have e4, c5, so a Sicilian defense, and then white plays c4 right away. This is usually known as the Maroczy bind, where white puts both pawns forward and really tried to prevent black from playing d5. It's a little bit weird to play it quite so early, but it's nothing, nothing wrong with it. We have knight c6 and then knight to e2, and black decided to go ahead and take advantage of the fact that the bishop is being blocked by this knight to e2 move. Most likely white was planning on playing something like g2, g3, bishop g2. And black plays knight to e5, and immediately black is threatening this pawn, but more importantly, threatening checkmate on knight with knight to d3, right? So that's the immediate threat that white has to be careful for, and white did see that and played a very good move, d4. And now, white is covering that with their queen. And now black played queen to a5 check, and white played a very natural bishop to d2, blocking the check and also attacking the queen. And what do you think black played next? Well, if you said knight to d3, you are correct. That, my friends, is again an amazing smothered checkmate with the knight. White somehow managed to block off all of the needed pieces, and that's game over in 5 moves playing with the black pieces. Well, hey, let me know in the comments if you've ever seen anything quite like this before. I know when I first saw it, like I said, blew my mind. Pretty crazy stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do like these tricks and traps, make sure you check out this video right here. You're not going to want to miss that one, but I will catch you guys in the next video. Stay sharp, play smart, and take care.